They told you calcium was enough. They were wrong, and your legs are paying the price. If you are over 60 and you have ever grabbed a railing going down the stairs, taken a little longer to get up from a chair, or felt that unsettling wobble when you stood up too fast, I need you to stop what you are doing right now and watch this video all the way through. Because what I'm about to share with you could genuinely change the way you walk, stand, and move for the rest of your life. I have spent over 30 years working with patients in orthopedic surgery and geriatric rehabilitation. I have seen thousands of seniors lose their independence, not because of heart disease, not because of memory loss, but because their legs simply gave out. And the most frustrating part of my career has been watching this happen to people who were doing everything they thought was right. Taking their calcium, doing a little walking, eating a balanced diet, and still ending up in wheelchairs or nursing homes because nobody told them about this one essential vitamin. Now here is the statistic that changed how I practice medicine. A landmark study out of Harvard Medical School followed over 4,000 adults aged 65 and older for 6 years. The researchers found that those who were deficient in this single vitamin were 73% more likely to experience significant muscle loss in their legs, 58% more likely to fall, and had dramatically higher rates of nursing home admission. 73%. That is not a small number. That is nearly 3 out of 4 people who could have held on to their strength and their freedom with one simple change. And before I get to the big reveal, and trust me, the science behind why this vitamin works the way it does is going to surprise you, I want to tease you with something. The #1 item on today's list, the most powerful form and the most powerful strategy involving this vitamin, is something that most doctors, including many geriatric specialists, are not talking about yet. It involves a very specific timing window that most seniors completely miss. And when you learn it, it can boost the effectiveness of this vitamin by up to 40%. So make sure you stay all the way to the end. But before we dive in, I want to ask you something. And I genuinely read every single comment on this channel. I want to know, how old are you? And have you noticed any changes in your leg strength or balance in the past 2 years? Tell me in the comments below. Your answer matters, and I promise I will respond. And if you have a parent or a grandparent who is struggling with their mobility, share this video with them today. It could be the most important thing you do for them this year. Now, the vitamin we are talking about today is vitamin D. But before you click away thinking you already know about vitamin D, I need you to understand that what most people know about this vitamin is scratching the surface. The way it interacts with your leg muscles, your nerve pathways, your mitochondria, and even your hormonal system after the age of 60 is a story that is only now being fully told by science. And the implications are staggering. We are going to go through 5 critical aspects of vitamin D and leg strength, counting down from 5 to 1, ranked from important to life-changing. By the end, you will know not just why this vitamin is essential, but exactly how to use it, when to take it, what to pair it with, and what form is most powerful for an aging body. Let us start with number 5. Number 5 is the connection between vitamin D and muscle fiber survival. And this one is the foundation that everything else builds on. Here is something your doctor probably never explained to you. Your muscles are not one uniform tissue. They are made up of different types of fibers, and the ones most responsible for keeping you upright, for catching yourself when you trip, for pushing yourself up out of a chair, those are called type 2 fast twitch muscle fibers. And a groundbreaking study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that vitamin D deficiency specifically and disproportionately destroys type 2 muscle fibers in the legs of older adults. We are talking about a loss of up to 35% of these critical fibers in people who are consistently low in vitamin D after the age of 70. Think of it this way. Imagine your leg muscles are like a fire station. You have got the big, powerful trucks. Those are your type 2 fibers. And you have got the smaller support vehicles. When vitamin D is low, it is like those big trucks are being taken out of service one by one. The station is still there. It still looks functional. But when the real emergency happens, when you trip on a curb or lose your balance on an uneven sidewalk, there is not enough power to respond in time. What vitamin D does at the cellular level is extraordinary. It binds to what scientists call the vitamin D receptor, or VDR, inside muscle cells, and it essentially turns on the genetic machinery that tells those cells to grow, to repair, and to stay alive. Without adequate vitamin D, that machinery goes quiet. Muscle cells age faster, repair slower, and die without being replaced. Now here is what makes this especially critical for seniors. After the age of 65, your body already experiences something called anabolic resistance. And let me explain that term immediately. Anabolic resistance means your muscles become increasingly stubborn about responding to the signals that used to build and maintain them. It is like trying to send a text to someone whose phone is on airplane mode. The message is sent, but nothing gets through. Vitamin D is one of the key compounds that helps turn airplane mode off. It sensitizes your muscle cells to the signals of repair and growth. In practical terms, you want to aim for a blood level of vitamin D measured as 25-hydroxy vitamin D of at least 40 to 60 nanograms per milliliter. Many seniors are walking around at 15 or 20 and they have no idea. A simple blood test from your doctor can tell you exactly where you stand. Number 4 is the relationship between vitamin D and the nervous system. And this is the piece that explains why leg strength is about so much more than just muscles. I want to tell you about a patient of mine. Her name was Eleanor. She was 79 years old and she came from a small town in rural Tennessee. She was sharp as a tack, did her crossword puzzles every morning, and took care of her garden. But over the course of about 2 years, her family noticed she had started shuffling when she walked. Her steps were smaller, slower, and she held onto walls constantly. Her muscle test came back reasonably normal, but her vitamin D level was at 12, critically low. Eleanor's problem was not just in her muscles, it was in her nervous system. You see, vitamin D plays a vital role in what scientists call neuromuscular transmission, the speed and efficiency with which your brain signals travel down to your legs and tell them what to do. Researchers at the University of Copenhagen published a study showing that low vitamin D significantly slows nerve conduction velocity in the lower limbs of older adults, meaning the electrical signals your brain sends to your legs literally travel slower. For a young person, this might be inconsequential. For a 79-year-old woman trying to catch herself after a stumble, this delay can be the difference between staying upright and hitting the floor. After we corrected Eleanor's vitamin D levels over 4 months with a targeted supplementation plan I will describe in a moment, her family called me to say that she was walking without holding walls, her steps were longer, and she had started going back to her garden. She was 79 years old. The science behind this is elegant. Vitamin D receptors are found throughout the central nervous system, including in the motor neurons, the nerve cells that control your leg muscles. When these receptors are properly activated by adequate vitamin D, the neurons fire faster, more accurately, and recover more quickly. This is particularly important for what researchers call proprioception, your body's ability to sense where it is in space. After the age of 70, proprioception naturally declines, and vitamin D deficiency accelerates that decline significantly. A study from Tufts University found that seniors with optimal vitamin D levels had reaction times in their lower limbs that were measurably faster than those who were deficient, and those faster reactions translated directly into fewer falls. For practical guidance at this level, timing your vitamin D supplement with a meal that contains healthy fat is essential because vitamin D is fat soluble, meaning your body can only absorb it properly when fat is present. Take it with avocado, eggs, olive oil, or a handful of nuts. Never take it on an empty stomach. Before I continue to number 3, I want to pause and say this. If this video is helping you understand your body better, if you feel like this information is something you wish you had years ago, please hit the subscribe button right now and give this video a thumbs up. It takes 2 seconds and it tells YouTube to share this with other seniors who need it. Every week I release new research on maintaining your health, your strength, and your independence as you age. Subscribe so you never miss it. Now back to number 3. Number 3 is the connection between vitamin D and mitochondrial function in aging legs. And this is where things get genuinely fascinating. Let me tell you about George, a 73-year-old retired postal worker from Albuquerque, New Mexico. George walked miles every day during his career, and he was proud of his physical history. But when he came to see me, he described something that is heartbreakingly common among active seniors. He said that his legs just felt heavy all the time, like he was walking through mud. His cardiovascular system was in decent shape. His joints were okay, but his legs fatigued within minutes of even moderate activity, and the recovery time afterward was getting longer and longer. George's issue was at the cellular energy level, and vitamin D was a central part of the answer. Inside every muscle cell in your legs are structures called mitochondria. You may have heard them called the powerhouses of the cell, and that is exactly what they are. They are the tiny engines that convert the food you eat into actual usable energy for muscle contraction. As we age, mitochondria become less efficient. They become damaged, and the body's ability to repair or replace them declines. This process accelerates dramatically after the age of 60, and research from the Buck Institute for Research on Aging has shown that it is one of the primary drivers of the fatigue and weakness that seniors experience in their legs. Now here is where vitamin D comes in. A study published in the FASEB Journal, the Journal of the Federation of American Societies for Experimental Biology, demonstrated that vitamin D directly regulates mitochondrial efficiency in skeletal muscle. It does this by activating specific genes involved in mitochondrial biogenesis, which simply means the creation of new, healthy mitochondria. In practical terms, adequate vitamin D helps your leg muscles make better, more efficient energy engines, and in aging adults specifically, this effect is more pronounced than in younger people because the baseline mitochondrial function is already compromised. For George, we combined optimal vitamin D supplementation with a specific synergy strategy I will tell you about in a moment. Within 3 months, he described his legs as feeling lighter. His walking endurance had roughly doubled, and he had started doing short evening walks again for the first time in 2 years. The practical guidance here involves dosage. The research is increasingly pointing toward the fact that the old recommended daily allowance of 600 to 800 IU is woefully inadequate for seniors, particularly those who are deficient. Many leading researchers and clinicians, including those at the Endocrine Society, now suggest that adults over 60 who are deficient may need between 2,000 and 4,000 IU daily to reach optimal blood levels, and some individuals may need even more under physician supervision. The key is getting your blood levels tested, establishing your baseline, and working with your doctor to find your personal optimal dose. Do not guess, test. The synergy tip for mitochondrial health: pair your vitamin D supplementation with magnesium. This is critically important and widely overlooked. Magnesium is required for the activation of vitamin D in your body. Without adequate magnesium, the vitamin D you take cannot be fully converted into its active form. Think of magnesium as the key that turns the vitamin D engine on. Studies show that up to 50% of seniors are magnesium deficient, which means that half of the seniors taking vitamin D are not getting the full benefit. Adding 300 to 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate daily, glycinate because it is the most gentle on the stomach, can unlock significantly more benefit from your vitamin D. Number 2 is the role of vitamin D in preventing and reversing something called sarcopenia. And what I am about to tell you may be the single most important piece of health information you encounter this year. Sarcopenia. The word comes from the Greek words for flesh and poverty. It is the medical term for the progressive, accelerating loss of muscle mass and strength that occurs with aging, and it is what I consider the silent epidemic of our time. The World Health Organization now recognizes it as a disease, a serious, diagnosable condition. And a landmark analysis published in the journal Age and Aging found that sarcopenia affects approximately 10% of adults over 60, 20% of those over 70, and up to 50% of those over 80. That is 1 in 2 people over 80 dealing with this condition, and most of them have never heard the word. Here is why sarcopenia is so devastating specifically for your legs. The legs contain the largest muscle groups in the body: the quadriceps, the hamstrings, the glutes, and the calves. These muscles are not just for walking. They are the structural support system for your entire body. They protect your knees and hips from impact. They regulate your circulation by pumping blood back up toward your heart. They generate the heat that keeps your core temperature stable. And perhaps most critically, they are the primary defense against falls, which remain the leading cause of injury-related death among adults over 65 in the United States, with over 36,000 fall-related fatalities every year. Vitamin D's relationship to sarcopenia is now one of the most well-researched areas in geriatric medicine. A meta-analysis which is a study that combines and analyzes the results of many individual studies, giving us a much more powerful picture, published in the journal Nutrients, combining data from over 19,000 older adults, found that vitamin D supplementation significantly reduced the rate of muscle loss in the legs, improved grip strength, improved walking speed, and reduced fall risk in older adults. The effect was particularly strong in those who were deficient at the start of the study. What this means is that if you are currently low in vitamin D, and the majority of older adults are, the potential gains from correcting that deficiency are enormous.